The night train was almost empty when I boarded. It was the last departure of the day, an old, rumbling line that cut through mountains and small, forgotten towns before reaching the coastal city at dawn. Most people avoided it because it was slow, cold, and always running late. But for me, it was the only train I could catch after finishing my shift. I found an empty seat by the window, pulled my jacket tighter, and prepared myself for the quiet ride home. But that night, quiet was the last thing I found. Before we begin, if you enjoy emotional and meaningful stories like this, don't forget to subscribe and comment where you're listening from. Now, let's continue. A few minutes before departure, just as the doors were about to close, a man boarded the train. He stumbled slightly, as if unsure whether he belonged there. His clothes were worn, his hair messy, and he held a small backpack pressed tightly against his chest. He scanned the compartment quickly, nervously, and chose the seat directly across from me. For a moment, neither of us spoke. He kept glancing at the door, then the window, then me. Something wasn't right. As the train pulled out of the station, he finally whispered, Is this train going all the way to Eastport?" "Yes," I said. "Do you need help?" He shook his head quickly. No, I'm fine." But he clearly wasn't. His hands were trembling. His breathing was shallow. His eyes kept filling and emptying with fear, like waves crashing against rocks. 5 minutes passed in silence before he whispered again, "No one else usually gets on this late." "I take this train every night," I said carefully. "It's not dangerous." He let out a cold, humorless laugh. "For you, maybe." I leaned forward slightly. "What happened?" He squeezed the backpack tighter. I can't go back home. Not tonight." Something in the way he said it made my heart tighten. "You running from someone?" I asked softly. He hesitated, then whispered, "I'm running from myself." The words hung in the cold air like frost. We sat in silence for a long moment before he continued, voice shaking. "My name's Daniel, and I did something today that I can't undo." He lifted the backpack slightly. Inside, I could see the corner of a violin case. The wood was cracked, splintered. I used to play professionally, but today, in the middle of practice, His breath hitched. I snapped. Literally. I smashed it. My violin. My father's violin. His voice broke completely. "It was the only thing I had left of him," he whispered. The train hummed along the tracks, carrying his pain gently forward. He rubbed his face with shaking hands. "I loved music my whole life, but after my father died, the pressure, that desire to be perfect, it just became a monster inside me." He swallowed hard. "People think grief makes you fragile, but sometimes grief makes you violent, against the world, against yourself." I nodded slowly. "You're allowed to feel that. You're allowed to be overwhelmed." He stared at me like no one had ever told him that before. I didn't know where to go. Didn't want to be home. Didn't want to be anywhere. So I came here. I guess I thought maybe a train would, I don't know, take me somewhere safe. It can. Sometimes the safest place is one that keeps moving. He let out a breath that sounded like surrender. "I'm sorry for dumping this on you. I know we're strangers. We're humans. Strangers or not, we don't have to suffer alone." He closed his eyes, and for a moment he looked peaceful. But then something changed. The train lights flickered. The wheels screeched. The train slowed to a crawl. Through the window, I saw flashing red lights and uniformed figures on the tracks ahead. Daniel stiffened instantly. "What's happening?" he whispered. "It's probably just a routine check. This area has a lot of wildlife." "No." His voice was sharp and terrified. No, I can't talk to anyone. I can't." His breathing grew rapid. I realized then he wasn't just running from emotions. He was running from something real. Before I could ask, he opened his backpack, just enough for me to see inside. It wasn't just a broken violin. There were documents, pills, a letter with official stamps. "Daniel," I said slowly, "what is this?" He looked at me with hollow eyes. "I checked myself out of the mental health clinic today, without permission." The train jolted. The officers outside stepped closer. Daniel panicked, stood abruptly, and moved toward the door as if planning to jump off the train. I grabbed his arm. "Stop!" He pulled away, shaking violently. "They'll take me back. They'll lock me in again. I can't go back there. I can't." He was spiraling fast. I held on to him firmly. "Daniel, listen to me. You're scared, not dangerous. You don't need to run." "You don't understand," he cried. "The clinic, it wasn't helping. Nobody listened. They just gave me more pills, more silence, more days alone with my thoughts." He pressed a fist to his chest. "I just needed to breathe." The intercom crackled. "Attention passengers, please remain seated. Standard inspection ahead." Daniel trembled so hard I thought he might collapse. "Please," he whispered, "don't let them take me." I took a deep breath. "Daniel, look at me." He did. "You're not going to be taken anywhere unless you're in danger. And right now, you're not. You're just hurting." His breathing slowed slightly. "We'll tell them you're with me, that you're safe, that you're not a threat." He shook his head. "They won't believe you." "They will," I said firmly, "because I'm a nurse." His eyes widened. "You, what?" "I help people like you every day, people who are scared, people who break, people who heal. You're not alone tonight." For a first time, hope flickered behind his fear. Officers boarded the train. 2 men in heavy coats, flashlights, clipboard. "Everything okay here?" one asked. Daniel froze. I gently squeezed his arm and stepped forward. "Yes," I said calmly. The officer looked Daniel over. "Sir, you appear distressed. Do you need medical assistance?" I answered quickly, but calmly. "He's having a panic episode. I'm a registered nurse at City General. I'll stay with him until we reach Eastport." The 2 officers exchanged glances. "Is he stable?" "Yes," I said confidently. "He just needs space and calm. I've got him." After a moment, the officer nodded. "All right, let us know if you need anything." They stepped off the train. Daniel sagged into the seat, shaking with relief. "You lied for me," he whispered. "I protected you. I corrected. You deserve a chance to heal, not punishment." The train began moving again. For the next hour, Daniel talked, really talked, about his father, his anxiety, his breakdown, his music, his guilt. And I listened, not as a nurse, not as a stranger, but as someone who understood what it meant to break quietly. When the train finally reached Eastport, the sky was just beginning to lighten. A soft pink glow stretched across the horizon. Daniel stood slowly, holding his backpack. "What do I do now?" he asked. "You start again. One small step, one appointment, one honest conversation." He breathed out, "I'm scared." "I know, but you're alive. That means you're already winning." He looked down at the cracked violin case. "Maybe I can fix it," he whispered. "You can, and even if you can't fix the violin, you can fix yourself." He met my eyes. "Thank you," he whispered, "for not letting me disappear." "Thank you," I said, "for choosing to stay." He gave me a small, trembling smile, then he stepped off the train. I watched him walk into the sunrise, slowly, carefully, but forward. Sometimes the people who look like they're breaking just need someone to stand beside them. Sometimes healing starts on a quiet night train with a stranger who refuses to let go. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for listening. I'll see you in the next story.